What if the blustering blowhard who built his brand on "you're fired" theatrics suddenly discovered that his own Republican retinue was firing themselves faster than he could fire off all-caps rants, with Congressman Troy Niels bailing on his House seat like a bad bet at a rigged roulette table, pension vested and healthcare locked in after 6 years of sycophantic service to the Orange Overlord? What if Donald J. Trump, that 79-year-old carnival con artist whose very large brain now belches bad ideas like a busted slot machine in a bankrupt bazaar, watched his razor-thin 219 to 213 majority morph into a 218 to 213 razor wire tie trope as Neil's noble farewell reeks of noble grift, timing his exit to pocket taxpayer perks while leaving Mike Johnson juggling a caucus convulsing in chaos and contempt. And what if this latest legislative lemming leap wasn't a lone loser, but the latest link in a chain of calculated cash-outs? Green's battered wife, Bolt, McCarthy's canary in the coal mine croon, and a punchbowl news prophecy of explosive early resignations, proving the emperor's elastic empire of excuses is stretching to snap, his strongman shtick a sad sack of sycophancy that's sapping the soul of the GOP. Envision the grotesque glee of it all. Trump, the draft-dodging dandy whose bone spurs were the only spurs he ever sported, now spurs his spawn to shill shitcoins that shit the bed, a high-rolling hustle that hightails from high finance to high farce, leaving a trail of torched treasuries in its wake, while his House henchmen head for the hills with hands full of handouts. Folks, this isn't governance. It's a grift gala gone grotesque. A Sunday slaughter where the tough-on-traitors, tyrants' tantrums torch his throne, leaving a party in paranoid pieces and a nation navigating the nightmare of nukes in noodle arms. Time to eviscerate the emperor whose elastic empire of excuses stretches from fake news, flack, to felonious firestorms, dragging us all into the deep end of his dementia-drenched depravity. The Thanksgiving tableau that teetered on tables across America in late November 2025 wasn't just a feast of family and football. It was a fiasco of financial folly for the Trump tribe, a bird bloated with bird flu blowback and tariff toxins that turned the holiday's harvest into a hunger for the haves-less, while the House of Trump harvested a harvest of humiliation from their half-baked hustle in the half-lit halls of high finance. Scott Bessent, that hapless hedge fund holdout whose Soros-sized blunders bled billions while the S&P soared 167%, strutted on to meet the press like a peacock in a pauper's pond, preening about healthcare coming down and lowest cost Thanksgiving dinner in 4 years. Turkey down 16%. Down. The USDA's grim gospel giggled grimly. Wholesale at $1.32 per pound. A 40% leap from 94 cents. Retail at $2.05. 25% higher. Purdue's profits prognosticated, with Butterball bundles at Walmart fetching $56 for 10 servings and Aldi's $40 spread a scrap for the starving. Bessent's bluster? A blizzard of bullshit, ignoring 25% grocery gouges since 2021, 3% year-over-year inflation spikes that sting like salt in a shutdown wound, and gas unmoved at $3.51 national average. California's $5.19 a pump of pain for the Golden State under the Golden Calves gaze. Prices starting to come down, he chirped, as if his 90% fund flop qualified him for clairvoyance. The S&P's surge a so what when your SNAP shrinks and Social Security sags under shutdown scars. But the real bird was the big announcement Bessent teased for the week. A comprehensive healthcare plan to give Americans control by funneling federal funds into health savings accounts, HSAs, letting you spend your money instead of insurance companies spending it for you. Spend it? On what? Co-pays or catastrophes? The napkin notion, scribbled in Sharpie during a Mar-a-Lago mixer, evaporated like Trump's perfect phone calls. CNN reporting December 1st that the framework fizzled into fog, no rollout. No details, just a vague vow to extend ACA subsidies temporarily, with guardrails like income caps and mandatory premiums. A band-aid for the subsidy sunset that's set to boot $24.3 million from marketplace coverage come January, premiums doubling or tripling for 9 and 10 subsidized souls per enroll. America's grim gospel. The CBO's crystal ball. 2 million more uninsured in 2026, a conservative count that conserves nothing for the carnage. $124 billion in 2024 subsidies, $35 billion enhanced alone, vanishing like Vegas winnings, leaving a $6,000 annual sting for individual plans that already eclipse Medicaid's mercy. Families funneled from one fiscal fire to another under Biden's 2023 unwinding that purged $26 million from Medicaid rolls, two-thirds for red tape, not ineligibility, into ACA exchanges armored only by ephemeral enhancements now, expiring like a bad lease. Satirical sting. The repeal and replace relic who couldn't replace a light bulb now replaces reform with a regurgitation. HSA's a hedge fund hacks hallucination where choice means choosing bankruptcy flavors, copay catastrophe, or emergency roulette, while Bessent's coming down chorus coos over 26% hikes that hammer the haves less. The S&P's soar a so what when your SNAP shrinks and Social Security sags under shutdown scars. Emotional eruption. This isn't economics. It's evisceration. Moms mutilating menus to afford meds. Elders eyeing empty pill bottles as premiums preen to plunder. The $500 monthly marketplace mordida, a mordant mockery of affordable care. 27 million uninsured, two-thirds cost crunched, cascading to catastrophe as medical debt drives 1 million bankruptcies yearly. Yale's ledger of loss. Vivid vignette. A Maryland matriarch, Medicaid marooned to marketplace maze, stares at $6,000 sticker shocks and subsidies, rationing insulin like a wartime ration card. Trump's control your money. A cruel cackle from a crony whose casinos cashed checks on charity. The ACA's origin? A Republican relic, Heritage Foundation's 1989 brainchild adopted by Romney and Romneycare, mandating individual coverage to offload ER burdens on the undeserving poor, a windfall for insurers who lobbied lavishly for the law they later loathed when Obama owned it. Big insurance's bonanza. Millions mandated to buy their product, subsidies sweetening the sell, administrative overhead at 13% versus Medicare's 3% efficiency engine. Trump's first-term fumble? 7 years of repeal rhetoric without replacement. McConnell's midnight massacre gutting mandate penalties, but leaving the skeleton standing. Biden's Build Back bolstering with $35 billion enhanced aid that enrolled 21.3 million. Record shatter. Until the 2023 unwinding unwound the wins. 26 million Medicaid marooned. Funneled to exchanges armored only by ephemeral enhancements now expiring like a bad lease.